Ascended units are cool as heck, man. No, really. Although it might not be the most powerful, creative, versatile, or fun to look at set of alts in the game, what they stand for was always extremely interesting to me. The Braves represent how popular a character has become in the community, so their purpose is to celebrate their respective world they come from. Several units either pay tribute to closely related characters, while others celebrate the world that they come from. Legendary heroes represent the hero after all the work is done. The three lords from three houses get their good endings, Ulm and Celica rule Valencia together, and Roy finally gets to be viable. No, I'm just kidding, he still sucks. But Ascendants were always the most fascinating to me, because these guys, they're still in the shit. Look at Joshua, for example. He finally accepted his throne in this alternate timeline, and he has a cool trickster dagger gimmick and an even cooler hat. Ascended Ishtar might be extremely boring gameplay-wise, but lore-wise, in this timeline, she defied her circumstances and is going against Lopter and the Corrupt Church. So, if Ascendants are supposed to be cool, why is Ascended Celica so goddamn boring? She's just a regular Celica with no real modifier, and her gimmick Soul of Zofia doesn't make her unique or good or interesting. Even Florina is cooler because she's like not scared of dudes or whatever. But what if I told you that I have concocted a way to make Celica go absolutely crazy without that boring B skill? This is my nasty Celica Summoner Duels build, stolen, inspired by Patrick, who sometimes make content. Go check him out. I managed to stack almost every Summoner Duels gimmick you could think of into one unit. Miracle? Check. Vantage? Yes sir. AoE? You bet your ass it's in there. And to top it off, I'm running her with Legendary Eliwood to further beef her up so she can get some giant hits on the enemy. Let's see it in action. toughest part of this build is the fact that Growing Wind, my AoE of choice for this current map, is a 4 cooldown special. And you might notice, 4 cooldown is a lot of goddamn cooldown. Now, Mila's Testament, Celica's PRF weapon, takes care of the first charge. But as I am Askrless, I have to get creative with the way I set her up. Pairing her with Valoria, I have Duochrome change her fate, and I get that bad boy procced and ready to go. But Squaw, how could you possibly stack so many different effects onto one unit? I mean, there are specialist units for each one of the things you mentioned. Well, viewer, I thought you'd never ask. So the first step is to get her into a range where she's been gray waved so she can move 3 spaces, ensuring she can strike the heart of the enemy team. After one combat, she'll blow up the team with the AoE special, and most likely kill the original targeted unit. After this, she's taken Fury 7 damage, putting her in both Vantage and Miracle range at the same time. She then gets the Canto away 1 space due to Eliwood's support. In this state, the enemy will have a tough time taking her out from a distance because of her Vantage hit as well as her Miracle survivability. She might die to, say, a Brave hit or a melee unit, but with a Brave hit you should be smart enough not to attack into it, and for melee you can either bring a near save or wait until all the close quarters units have ended their turn. Sometimes using this Celica isn't always about killing and running away to kill again. Sometimes you're forced in a situation where a far save might be too strong for even Celica to overtake. Unfortunately, premium far saves like Formortis and sometimes but rarely Duma can manage to edge out the AoE Celica special. In this situation, it's not a terrible idea to sacrifice Celica in order to get chip damage. So long as the enemy team doesn't have any sources of healing, meaning Duoduma or the new Ascended Elincia, who I have no idea what to do with, you can manage to put some permanent damage on far saves or damage reduction units, which will have a harder time tanking hits with the lower HP pool at their disposal. This build goes kinda silly, and I hope it works this week in SDS. I had a legendary run that one time after all, so maybe lightning strikes twice? Could be the move. If you're one of the 8 believers who actually pulled for Ascended Celica, maybe give this build a spin. It's pretty fun. I'd like to also give another big shout out to Patrick, who pioneered this build and used it to get to the grands of the big violin tourney Connorzak hosted that one time. Anytime in this video I said that I came up with an idea, or I decided to put this and that together, it was actually Patrick. This is the best I could come up with for this unit, but if you've got any cool Celica builds, or any cool Ascended builds in general because I like them so much, feel free to leave them in the comments. I'd really like to, look them over and maybe try them out for myself if I have the free fodder. I don't know what cool and epic lore gimmick the new Ascended hero will have, but I do know that there is no time and your sword is enough. Squadala!